Okay, so I'm sure you've heard that there's many different types of online businesses that you can start, but what if you don't necessarily want to have your own business? What if you want to have a work from home job that pays you enough to quit your current job? In this video, I'm going to reveal 7 real work from home jobs that pay at least $100 a day, if not more, and it'll allow you to work from home full time or allow you to have a really good side hustle. On this channel, we talk a lot about entrepreneurship and starting your own online business, but I get comments and questions all the time from people wanting to know how can they start making money today and how can they replace the current income of their current job, that way they can work from home full time. So the 7 work from home jobs I'm gonna reveal today, you can do from your computer and you can get started today doing them. That way you can replace your income from your current job. And they're 100% legit. There's people all around the world doing these. These are 100% proven online jobs that you can do. And I actually know people from most of these jobs that they've been doing these jobs for quite a while. When I started my first business a few years ago and left being a full-time firefighter or paramedic to now working from home off my computer, I've met hundreds of people doing the same thing, whether they work from home or they're digital nomads and they work from wherever they want around the world. I've met hundreds of people doing this, and while a lot of them own their own online business, many of them do some of these work from home jobs. So in just a second, we're gonna jump into this and I'm gonna list out these 7 work from home jobs and how you can get started today doing this so you can jump on this very quickly. But before we do that, please go ahead and smash that like button down below. It really helps the engagement. Definitely hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'm here to help you guys create your own freedom lifestyle. And definitely leave a comment or question down below. I answer all comments and questions within the first hour after every video is uploaded. So definitely turn on that bell so you never miss an upload right when it drops. All right, so let's jump into these 7 work from home jobs. So the very first one is very proven. There's people all around the world making a very good living doing this, and this is being a transcriber. So as a transcriber, you're literally transcribing audio to text. So you're taking audio, you're listening to audio, and you're typing it out into text. So there's so many jobs out there. There's thousands of jobs for this, all from transcribing a podcast over to text, an audio book, putting that over into text, typing out court cases. The list goes on and on of what you could transcribe, and there's people all around the world doing this. I actually know of one in particular that lives here in Austin, and she makes a very good living as a transcriber, and she makes her schedule however she wants. As a transcriber, you can completely make your own schedule, pick up the jobs when you want. Now, there's some of these jobs that if you actually work for a transcribing company and you're not just doing straight up freelancing, then you might have a little bit more of a schedule or a deadline on when you need to get some of these done. But for most of these jobs, you're gonna be able to completely make your own schedule. My friend that does this, she works for a company that she transcribes for, so she actually has a quota of what she actually has to get done. But a lot of these are really good paying jobs. Depending on the job, the site you use, you can make $20 to $40 an hour as a transcriber. So depending on how efficient, how much of a fast typer you are, depending on the type of job, you can make quite a bit of money of these. And there's some jobs out there, some sites out there that pay over $50 an hour for transcribing. This is one of the jobs on the list that you can get started with today, and you can get started making money. Now, this is definitely more of one of the more mundane type jobs. You're literally listening to audio and typing it out. It's not the most fun job, but this is a time proven job, one that a lot of people are currently doing and have been doing for a long time, that pays very well. If your whole goal is to be able to quit your current job that you're in, work from home, have that time freedom, maybe the location freedom, this is definitely one for you to look into. And as your experience grows, you're gonna be able to command a higher and higher price as a transcriber. And there's a lot of great transcribing sites for you to find these jobs. You can look into TaskRabbit, Upwork, freelance, and a great one out there is Allegis Transcribing. But you can definitely get started as a transcriber, start doing this right now and start making money from home. All right, the second work from home job I have for you is to be a virtual bookkeeper. So as a virtual bookkeeper, you're literally managing the books online for certain businesses out there. The great thing with this is you don't need to be a CPA or an accredited accountant for most of these jobs. Most of these jobs you can go ahead and get started with. Now, some of these you will need to actually take skill tests. Some of the ones I actually found you didn't need to do that. And some of these jobs can actually be very high paying. Some of the virtual bookkeeping jobs I found can actually pay over $50 an hour. So this is definitely a job that you could have that replaces the income of most jobs out there, but this is definitely one that you might need a certain skill sets. For some of the jobs out there, there were requirements on having a certain skill set with these. And like I said, some of the ones, the more lower paying ones, like $15 to $25 an hour, those ones didn't require as many skills. So if you think you could be a virtual bookkeeper and manage the books and you're good with numbers for a certain business, this is definitely one to look into. Essentially, you can be an online kind of semi-accountant for certain businesses out there and get paid to do it. All right, so the third work from home job I have for you, I actually know quite a few people doing this, and there's a couple different routes you can take with this, and that's to be an online teacher. So the very first route we're gonna talk about is being an online English teacher. So if you're watching this video right now, I know a lot of you are very fluent in English. English is probably your very first language. If it's not your first language, hopefully you're proficient in this. You can actually teach English to people all around the world. Now, the pay on this differs depending on the class size that you're teaching, the location of the students in the world, where they're at, in the age group, but you can actually make a good living as an online English teacher. Some of the jobs I found paid about $15 an hour and some paid about $35 an hour, and there's a lot of different sites that you can find a lot of these English speaking jobs, English teaching jobs, for students all around the world. Some of the jobs I found, you do need to have a bachelor's degree. It doesn't necessarily need to be an English degree, but depending on the country where the job is located, some of those countries require you to have a bachelor's degree, but I found some jobs that didn't. Some of the jobs that didn't necessarily require a degree, you could essentially take an online test to show your proficiency in English and show you that you have the skill set and the knowledge to teach English to students. So this is definitely one that you could get started, maybe not today, but this is one you could start very shortly that is definitely a proven work from home job that you could definitely do. So on the flip side, another side of online teaching is essentially online tutoring. So if you have a certain skill set, say you're really good in science, or you're really good in math, a certain subject, you can go ahead and tutor people from either your own country or people all around the world. That's a great thing about having a work from home job where you're working from your computer, is you're gonna be able to connect with people all around the world, and online tutoring is definitely a job that there's a lot of sites out there that pay a lot of money to do this. Kind of like tutoring, but back to the English speaking, there's certain sites out there, especially for students in China, do you actually do one-on-one teaching with, one-on-one tutoring with, and some of these jobs can pay over $50 an hour. There was one job I found that essentially you're teaching English one-on-one to a student in China, and it pays over $50 an hour. So this is one that can actually be very, very lucrative. And while you're not gonna have 100% time freedom, because you are going to essentially have to schedule these meetings with some of these students, you are going to have quite a bit of flexibility doing this, and you can make a pretty decent income and be a digital nomad if you'd like to do this. All right, so the fourth work from home job I have for you, you can actually start today, but depending on your location is going to depend on your pay and if it's worth you actually getting started. So this is actually being a rideshare driver or a delivery driver. So an Uber or Lyft driver, or a food delivery driver like Favor or Uber Eats or something like that. Now, there's some places around the country that pays a lot. So if you're in a metropolitan area, say like New York City, or even here in Austin, Texas, you can make a lot of money doing this, especially if you know the system, you know the best places to be. There's several people that make 6 figures a year as an Uber or Lyft driver, but then there's other locations where this wouldn't be worth it to you at all. If you're in more of a rural area, or just an area where it's not the best, this is probably not the best one for you. So this is definitely one that you need to look into your certain area. And you also need to look in your area and knowing whether food delivery drivers make more or if rideshare drivers make more. I know certain cities, you can actually kill it as a food delivery driver, but as an Uber or Lyft driver, you're not gonna make as much. So definitely look into this to know if this is worth it to you. But like I said, this can be a very, very lucrative work from home job if you're in the right location. This is one that if you are a hustler and you're wanting to work, you just don't wanna essentially work for a job that you're currently in. If you're a hustler, this is one that probably is going to be worth it to you, because the more work you put in, the more you're gonna get out of this. All right, so the fifth work from home job I have for you is definitely one you should look into. There's countless jobs all around the world for this, and that's being a virtual assistant. So since I've started my online businesses a few years ago, I've had many virtual assistants throughout the years. I've had virtual assistants that manage customer service for some of my businesses, order fulfillment, some that manage my social media. The list goes on for the jobs of a virtual assistant. As a virtual assistant, essentially, you can pick up the job of either certain tasks or many tasks for a certain individual or company. So a certain company might need you to do customer service for them. So you could be a customer service virtual assistant. Some might just mean you need to essentially manage their time. You need to manage their social media. The list goes on for being a virtual assistant. As your specialization grows, you're going to be able to command more of a price. Now, some of these jobs for virtual assistants doesn't pay very much per hour, while others do. And as your specialization grows, you're going to be able to charge more. So if you start in the very beginning as a general virtual assistant, you might only be making $10, $12 an hour. But as your specialization grows, let's say you grow in being an overall executive virtual assistant where you manage everything for a certain individual or business, you're going to be able to charge more as your ratings come in, your portfolio grows. Just like if you were, you got really, really specialized in managing ads for a business. You started doing Facebook ads and really learning that. As that grows, you're going to be able to obviously charge more for that. So some of these jobs in the beginning aren't going to pay as much, but you got to think over time, as your portfolio grows and your ratings grow on, say, a site like Fiverr or Upwork, you're going to be able to charge more over time. Being a virtual assistant is definitely one that has a very, very low barrier to entry. You can start this today and you can start building your portfolio and making more and more and more money over time. All right, so the sixth work from home job I have for you is going to require the most time up front, and it actually is going to involve some training that you're going to need to get, but that's being a real estate agent or an insurance agent. The reason I included this on the list is for the people that feel called to this, because there's going to be several people out there that do feel called to doing this. This can be a very, very lucrative career for you, being a real estate agent or an insurance agent. Both of these jobs always make it on the list each year of some of the best jobs that you can have without a degree. So definitely look into real estate agent or insurance agent. These can be very, very rewarding to you. So in the very beginning, you're going to need to get training to go ahead and get your license, whether that's a real estate license or your insurance agent license, to be able to actually sell what you're selling. But once you get this, your whole pay is based off of commissions, and this can really, really rack up over time. If you get paid 3 to 6% on a house sell, and you get really good at selling houses, this can be very, very lucrative to you. And I know several people that make a lot of money doing this. Now, the beauty with being a real estate agent or insurance agent is if you don't put very, very much work into it, but you're happy making, say $45,000 a year, you can do that. But if you're willing to really, really hustle and work at this, there's several people I know personally that make multiple six figures a year as a real estate agent or an insurance agent. So if you don't have a degree, you want to be able to create your own schedule, and that might be creating a very busy schedule, but you want to create your own schedule, work for yourself. Definitely look into real estate agent or insurance agents. Definitely one of the ones out there for the right person. This could be life-changing for you. All right, so the seventh work from home job I have for you is actually my favorite on this list, and that's being a digital content creator. There's so many different routes you can take with this. The pay varies greatly depending on which route you can take. So we're gonna talk about a few of these. So the very first one is blogging. Essentially with this, you could create your own blog, or you could even be a freelance writer. And there's several freelance writers out there that they make a lot of money. So as a freelance writer, you essentially could write for blogs. These can be small blogs in the very beginning that you're just essentially trying to put content out there for them. But then over time, as your portfolio grows, you can get some jobs with some very, very big blogs and get paid a lot. You can do short stories. The list goes on of what you can do as a freelance writer, but there's some jobs out there as a freelance writer that pay over $1,000 per job. Now this is depending on how long the job is, how much the word count is, all of that. But as a freelance writer, if you enjoy writing and you're good at it, you're efficient with it, freelance writing is definitely one that you should look into. The list goes on and on for what you can actually do as a freelance writer. You could do magazine articles, blog posts, short stories. There's so many different things as a freelance writer that once you know your niche, you can go ahead and make a lot doing this. So the other types of digital content that you can put out there that can actually pay you is something like YouTube. You can actually put out YouTube videos, and either YouTube pays you with putting ads on the video, or you can actually start growing an audience and monetize that audience. A big way people monetize an audience is through ebooks. You can actually go ahead and start selling ebooks, and you don't necessarily need to have a big audience to start selling ebooks. You can go ahead and start doing this through different sites. If you have a certain skill set that you can teach people, teaching people online, the industry is only growing. So you can either do ebooks, you can do online courses, you can teach something that you are very skilled in that essentially will take someone from A to Z. Now, digital content creation, besides freelancing and freelance writing, is getting a little bit more into entrepreneurship and actually starting your own online business, but I wanted to include it on this list because the profit margins are so high and pretty much anybody can get started doing this. Everybody has a skill set or something that they're knowledgeable in that other people are wanting, and this is something that you can start, and the profit margin is so high for this. So digital content creation is definitely a big one for you to look into, especially if you would like to go ahead and start teaching people something online, or start growing an audience online to provide value to people. If you can go ahead and do that, this is definitely one for you to look into. But that includes my list of 7 work from home jobs. There's definitely a lot more out there, but I wanted to put this list out to you. This is one that I actually know people, and pretty much all of these, where there's people that are killing it. And they have a very, very good income. So if your whole motivation is to be able to quit your current job, work from home, or create your own schedule, whatever your motivation is, these 7 are definitely ones for you to look into. Some of these are going to be more suited for some people, like transcribing is definitely going to be for the right person that can actually do more mundane work, compared to someone that wants to be a real estate agent that that's going to take a lot of hustle, but can be very, very rewarding financially for you. So this is definitely a list for you to go ahead and sort through and see which ones really, really apply to you. But all of these have the opportunity to pay you enough to quit your current job, depending on what your current job is and your set number is. But I hope you guys found some value in this. If you did, please go ahead and smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely let me know what your favorite one is on this list. I'd love to go ahead and chat with you guys. But keep grinding, y'all, and I'll see you in the next video.